When out walking in the Scottish borders, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to stumble upon a site filled with mystery, legend and folklore. Ghosts, ghouls, monsters and creatures of the unknown inhabit every ruin and every castle. As you walk through the countryside, these castles are everywhere, these ruins around every corner and in every valley. Places like this Newark Tower near Selkirk. So many ghost stories, so many fables, so many tales. But some of these fables, legends, myths, whatever you want to call them, are a little bit more real than others, a little bit more historical fact than historical fiction. While walking in the hills near Selkirk the other day, I came across the grave of a witch, no less. Witches in the Scottish borders? Could it be true? Where curlews cry and wild birds fly, Tibby through the centuries lies. The stone is cracked, yet bears the name. A witch perhaps, but who's to blame? It is, however, a very sad but very true and historically documented fact that witch hunts and the persecution, torture, imprisonment and ultimately murder of women was not only happening in the borders but was at absolute fever pitch. 4,500 women were killed in Scotland between 1590 and 1680. And the most disturbing thing of all is a huge percentage of these women were killed in the Scottish borders. Per head of population, the Scottish borders killed more women than anywhere else in Britain. In Scotland, being a witch was outlawed. It was a crime to be a witch. But in essence, the only thing that these women did wrong was not sticking to the Christian religion. These women were viewed as devil worshippers, pagans, heathens, because they didn't stick exactly to the letter of what the church said, and the church persecuted them for this. The reason I'm here in the small village of Stow today is because this area produced a lot of witches. I'm going to follow two cases that came from this area today. One was Marion Henryson, who lived in the village of Stow, and the other was Katie Rees, a girl from Torwood Lee, just on the outskirts of Galashiels. Both women were convicted of being witches and taken from this area, ultimately to their death. After their initial arrest, Katie Lees and Marion Hensman would have been dragged along this bleak road, alone and afraid, to their torture and ultimate death at one of the most notorious witch-killing black spots in the whole of Scotland. The witches, or accused witches, were brought here to Lauder, a small town in the Scottish borders whose only real claim to fame these days are its photographs of disgraced celebrity-themed fancy dress boats. In Lauder, the parish minister, his name was James Guthrie, and he was a renowned, feared and prolific witch hunter. He took these alleged witches and forced confessions of them through sleep deprivation and torture. And these confessions ultimately led to the women being executed right in the heart of the town here. The women were thrown into this very dungeon here in Lauder Town Hall, or Lauder Toll Booth as it was then known. They were stripped naked, had all their hair shaved off, and were deprived of sleep for at least 3 days to cause absolute delirium in the minds of these women. That was before the torture began. Once the women had been softened up with the effects of sleep deprivation and hypothermia, they were then repeatedly prodded with a 3-inch spike until a confession was forthcoming. And you can believe me that a confession was not very long coming under these circumstances. The women were then brought out in front of the town hall here, strangled to death and then burned at the stake. So we're back here on this bleak, desolate, windswept hillside, and the question is, could this be the only monument in the whole of the Scottish borders, if not Scotland, to commemorate and pardon the hundreds, if not thousands of women who were killed in the name of religion in the witch hunts of Scotland? So who were these women who died a gruesome death in the name of Christianity? And not just the two that I've talked about, but the hundreds of women who were killed across the Scottish borders. Does anybody remember them? Does any town or any place remember these women and pardon them?